Oi, you know what time it is? You're tuned in listening to Dry That Aussie Metal Guy. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of his content when it drops. And remember, stay brutal, you mad dogs. Roof!
Okay then, g'day, how you all going? It's Dry That Aussie Metal Guy here with Crank.com and with Cranium Radio. So today, tonight, this morning, this afternoon, wherever you are in the world, it's a great pleasure that I'm getting to have a chat with Marco from Perth death metal titans Crypt Crawler, who recently released their latest album, The Immortal Realm, which is an absolute ripper, dropped September 13th. And as I was just saying before we jumped on, Mike, there, it's been 3 years since we chatted about the last album, Future Usurper, which was an absolute ripper. So you must be stoked to drop this one, yeah, mate?
Hell yeah, man. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I'm so stoked to be dropping the Immortal Realm. Like I said, it came out last Friday and could not be happier with the response.
Exactly. The Future Usurper got a amazing response as well. And I know you guys played all over Australia with that one as well. So it's really good to see this one getting off to a really, really good start. First off, though, can you tell me about some of the themes, influences, and inspirations behind the latest album, The Immortal Realm?
So lyric-wise, the themes, we've actually got on the hype sticker on the vinyl there's 8 songs about life, death, and beyond, which that pretty much sums up what all the songs are about. A lot of the songs, not the whole album isn't exactly a full concept album, but pretty much it's everything follows along that same sort of similar theme, where a lot of the songs talk about from beyond, immortality, shedding skin, to, like, those concepts that have come from movies such as Hellraiser, Martyrs, From Beyond. A lot of Lovecraftian influence and whatnot have gone into all these songs. Influences wise, like we've now that we've been doing this, we've got 2 albums out, an EP, and now this being as the 3rd album. We do have a sound that we've sort of established ourselves with. However, we obviously are influenced by a lot of our favorite bands and whatnot. So there's always those influences such as Death, Morbid Angel, Bolt Thrower, especially as well on this album. And then there's, your classic heavy metal bands as well that influence a lot of things, such as the guitar leads and whatnot. So things from like Iron Maiden, Metallica's, well, they're my favorite bands. So, so that's a big influence that gets injected into the sound there, as well as the modern day influences such as Aborted, even Lamb of God has some influence on us. The whole spectrum of influence that comes into the Crypt Crawler sound.
Oh, exactly. You guys have this great ability to mix in elements of that old school death metal with the modern death metal elements as well. So how do you kind of manage and balance those influences in the Crypt Crawler sound?
I think we don't want to exactly retread everything that's already been done. We might have done that in the past. Say, like To the Grave is a very on the nose influence with our favorites such as Death and Obituary and whatnot. However, there were those little influences that creeped in from the new school of death metal bands and whatnot. But as we've grown as a band and whatnot, we definitely want to be able to take our sound and incorporate it and make the sounds that we want to hear. Like, we're all fans of heavy metal, the genre as a whole, so we've all got our separate influences that come into play. Like our guitarist Zach, for example, he wrote a lot of the riffs on this album, and he's a big Mastodon fan and very into some of the sludgier sort of material, and that gets injected into the sound, even though it's not necessarily like something that I'm influenced by. But as soon as it comes under that Crypt Crawler filter, I guess, all those amalgamations of sounds come into what we're doing, and it just makes something for you. Hopefully, makes something unique for the listening experience.
Yeah, and speaking of Death and Obituary, we got to mention the James Murphy solo on there as well for Higher
Definitely.
Society. What was it like kind of getting him on board, and tell us kind of how that come about?
Yeah, that was amazing. I'm still mind blown at the fact that we've got James Murphy on a song of ours. The amount of times that when we were coming up with solos in the past where we're like, oh, how about we check out this James Murphy solo and take some influence from that? Like, he's such a big influence on especially lead guitar wise on this band. However, how that came about was we got an amazing fan in Sydney named Rael, and he somehow had contact with James Murphy through a mutual friend and whatnot, and for whatever reason showed James Murphy Crypt Crawler, which was amazing to hear from him. James Murphy ended up commenting on our Force Fed to the Dead music video, and I was like, wow, this can't be real. And he pretty much just put the idea forward to us. He goes, how would you like James Murphy to be on the new Crypt Crawler album? And I was like, that's a no-brainer, of course. Like, well, we actually had I think we had two solos left to write for the album, and Higher Society was one of them. And I was like, well, this couldn't be a more perfect song to have James Murphy come in on. And it just went from there. And I'm so super stoked with the result and cannot believe that, yeah, James Murphy is on our album.
Yeah, it came out really, really well, and definitely up there as one of the memorable moments for you guys as well. And speaking of fans, you guys have an amazing fan base. Like the reaction, I think like 20,000 streams as well. And as you mentioned, a fan there, but also I kind of come across a fan of you guys as well, watching an interview, which I do have to shout out to Dave Bidwell, who's like a mad fan. He's like telling me about all the merch he got from you guys. And well, what's that been like for fans like him and the one you mentioned as well, kind of getting behind you guys and really pushing you forward, especially here in the Australian music scene, but also worldwide as well?
Oh man, it blows my mind, seriously. David loves chatting to us, and he's a great fan to have on board. I know he mentioned he wants to get a tattoo of ours, so that's insane. We got Ryan Dawson in Brisbane, who's already got a tattoo of ours.
So
Absolute legend as well. I man, to think, like I used to be just the person in the crowd watching these bands, idolizing them, and to think that I've got people wanting to idolize us it blows my mind, man. And I'm super grateful for it. And we couldn't be happier and more stoked about our fans and everyone coming to shows, buying merch. Like the amount of times that we've come home from a show and we're like, wow, we sold out all these shirts. And our drummer Lewis will turn around and be like, where do these new fans keep coming from? And I'm just like, it's what we're doing. We're doing something really awesome, and I'm really proud and really stoked and thankful for everyone that's a fan of Crypt Crawler.
yeah, that's what I really love about our scene here. That like we do go when we go to shows, everyone's kind of crowds in at the merch stand and buys themselves some shirts. I'm guilty of it. I've got just so many fucking shirts. It's like one of those things we still have to do in the metal community. Go buy the vinyls,
Yes,
get
exactly.
the t-shirts and get the merch as well, which I'm extremely proud to see. So can we get back to the album? Tell us a little bit about the songwriting process for this album and kind of how the songs come together for you guys.
Definitely. This album was a little more collaborative than it was in the past. So previously we'd sort of just sit in front of the computer, maybe myself and one guitarist sort of working on a song together. However, this album was a lot more collaborative. We were in the jam room together, coming up with riffs. Lewis being behind the kit straight away, putting beats behind it. Like originally what we do demo drums originally, send it off to him, and then he'd have to rewrite what we had already done. So it felt so much more natural to be writing in the room together like this. And I'm upset that we hadn't done it earlier. And I feel like the songs just came together in a lot more of a natural way, and it just feels so much more organic in that sense. So yeah, a lot more collaborative this record. And I think it shows for how the songs are structured together and just all our ideas being put into this song rather than, oh, here's this full product already, and then maybe a couple of little changes would happen here and there rather than what we've done on this record.
Yeah, do you feel a lot of that's down to probably not fucking that COVID shit? That feels like a world away, doesn't it? I just thought about that. It was like 2021 when Future Usurper. I'm like, that's right, that crap was going on in the world. But since
Yeah,
then,
man.
you guys have managed to play a shitload of shows together and get out all over the place. And as you said, a more collaborative effort. Do you feel that's kind of helped kind of grow and evolve and push the sound of you guys to where you are with the Immortal Realm?
Yeah, definitely, man. Like, so To the Grave, for example, it was just myself and Jordan pretty much in the band at that stage. So it was only us two just writing all the music for that album. And then we gathered the rest of the members as soon as we were ready to sort of release that album, and then just did the sort of final touches and whatnot with everyone else. But yeah, Future Usurper obviously was, I think we had few songs already written prior to COVID, and then COVID happened, so a lot of it was just very very limited, confined. And it's funny, even though we had a lot of time for future, considering COVID and all the delays it brought to the world, I kind of wish we had a bit more time with Future because yeah, this album's definitely felt like way more cohesive with everything we've done. We've really sort of learnt from past I wouldn't say mistakes, but past experiences to really sort of, you know, put a punch to the face with 8 tracks and just a solid album in total.
Yeah, you can definitely see that with the broader narrative of the band, Crypt Crawler in general, and definitely the evolution of you guys. This is kind of, you must be really happy with kind of how this has kind of come out as well.
Yeah, definitely, man. Like especially going from a 46-minute album to a 33-minute album where it's just everything's so much more cohesive and straight to the point, punch in the face. That's what I've tried to explain this album as.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about the album art because I'm still a sucker, as we'll mention, merch and vinyl, and I do love vinyl. Tell us a little bit about the album art and kind of who you worked with for this one because that just has that classic death metal album cover, and it's one of those ones I could just keep looking at.
Hell yeah. We worked with an artist named Dan Goldsworthy. He's
Oh,
an
yep.
amazing, incredible artist. Yes.
Fuck yeah, everyone knows he's unreal, man, isn't he?
Yeah, man. He's done some of our favorite albums. Like Aborted is a massive. I'm a big fan of Aborted, and he did their single that they released. I think it was last year, and then the new album for this year. And as soon as I saw that artwork, I was like, "Oh, this guy's definitely someone to keep eyes on." He did the Inhuman Condition album. He's done an amazing. Yeah.
That
As soon as
Inhuman Condition is so fucking good as well. And I've got to
yeah,
shout out to
man.
Jeremy and Taylor. They are fucking. I've interviewed them a few times. They're a couple of really good dudes, and they were kind of hit
Hell
me up
yeah.
going through the cancer treatment stuff I was going through and checking in on me as
Ah,
well. They were
that's so
just
nice.
really really great humans. And Taylor on that bloody Deicide album is
Oh,
fucking unreal. I was chatting to Glenn Benton about it, and I know just something about that new injection as well, and having Taylor on the
mm,
guitars. You know what? He's just such an amazing fucking guitarist, eh?
so sick, man. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, so yeah, as soon as yes, that Inhuman Condition album cover as well, it's just like we need to we need to get this artist on the next Crypt Crawler, and that's pretty much where it came about. Um, we gave him the concept of it. So pretty much the album cover is inside of the Immortal Realm. So that's what we sort of gave him the concept of. We wanted very Lovecraftian vibes. We wanted to bring our mascot straight into the center of that album cover. Um, which his name is revealed in the liner notes of the album. So if you haven't picked up a physical, make sure you do so. Um, and yeah, just we gave him that scenario. We wanted him inside of a pool of water, like like that sort of swamp sort of vibe with creatures and humans being deformed and whatnot. The album sort of talks about a lot of those things in the lyrics. For example, Abhorrent Abominations, the seventh track on the album, that a lot of those ideas have spawned from those lyrics, which is really cool to see I illustrated on that cover. So yeah, couldn't be happy with how the album cover came out. And I think if everyone's noticed so far, we've sort of had like a color theme per album. And yeah, this is our green album.
Yeah, well, I know that the world is unfortunately geared towards a streaming platform, but how
Mm.
important is it to have that physical, that art platform as well to go along with the music? Because I'm
Oh,
telling my
definitely.
age, I'm 44, and that's kind of my generation. You'd buy the album, like you said, you'd read the liner notes, you'd pull out the artwork, and you'd dive into some of the deeper tracks. How does that sit in with the band and Crypt Crawler, the art and the hand in
Oh,
hand thing?
it's to see Dan Goldsworthy's art on the vinyl is incredible. I'm 31, but I still remember going to JB Hi-Fi when I was a kid just to be like, oh, this album comes out Friday. I need to be able to get it on the day of release. Like you didn't have Spotify or anything like that to get to. So yeah, like I remember going to stores to get that. I didn't have a vinyl player, so vinyl came a bit later for me. As we all know, the
Yeah.
resurgence of vinyl has become a big thing. But I used to sit at home, man. Like I used to go through my uncle's CDs, and I'd go through and see like like Guns N' Roses Appetite for Destruction. The amount of times I read that the liner notes on that album and looking through the booklet, and even all my AC/DC albums, all that sort of stuff, man. I used to be obsessed with looking over the CDs and the liner notes, and I just hope that we are able to also have fans look through our liner notes and look through all the lyrics. Like as a graphic designer myself, like I have designed all the layouts and everything like that for the vinyl and the CDs and whatnot. So it's a big deal for me, for sure, for fans to have that physical copy and look through the liner notes and all that sort of stuff, look through the lyrics, look through the thank you notes, all that stuff, man.
Yeah, it's unreal. It looks really bloody smick. Can you tell me a little bit about kind of how you approach the vocal arrangements for this album?
Yeah, I mean, I think vocally, I just go in and I just try whatever comes to mind. Like I don't normally write lyrics for a song. I like writing lyrics prior to a song coming to me, and then I'll hear the music and be like, oh yeah, these lyrics here sort of fit to this song. And I personally think that, not that I haven't done it the other way around, because I have done it before where I've like, oh, I had no lyrics that fit a particular song, so I've got to write lyrics for a particular song. But I prefer having lyrics already because I think for me personally, I don't know what every other band does and whatnot, but I think it has a very unique vocal patterns come out from doing something like that because my lyrics might be like a different set of rhymes that I've come up with and passage that I've originally thought of for those lyrics prior to hearing any piece of music. So when I try and apply those lyrics to the music, sometimes I think it comes across quite unique vocally in terms of vocal patterns and whatnot on top of the music. And it also helps me to be very creative as well with it. So I might have a line that I think should sound like this, but then when I hear the music, it does things to the rest of the lines in the song. I might change like a word here or there, and the creative juices just flow. And I've in this room here, where I'm sitting with my microphone and just going at it really, and just trialing and experimenting with different things. And yeah, I hope everyone enjoys the vocal arrangements and patterns that I've used and the vocals in general.
Most definitely. And can you tell me a little bit about the recording process? Kind of where did you just record and how did that all go?
So a lot of the guitars, well, actually all the guitars except for James Murphy's guitars were all recorded in this room that I'm sitting in right now. It's my little DIY home studio. Same as all the vocals and whatnot were all recorded in here. Drums were recorded at Sumo Sound Recording Studios in Osborne Park, for everyone in Australia and WA that knows that. Um, and then we sent off all the tracks to be mixed and mastered, or mixed by Winter Pryor from the UK at Sphinx Studios, and then mastered by Jacob Hansen, who has done some amazing records. Again, he's done Aborted, he's done Black Dahlia Murder, Catatonia, Arch Enemy. So yeah, couldn't be
Crypt
happier with how
Crawler.
it all came out. And Crypt Crawler now.
Fuck yeah, dude. Have you got a couple of favorite tracks off the album and why?
For me, Gateway of Souls is one of my favorite tracks of the album. I think it's an epic song. It's a awesome album closer. It's got a lot of melody in it. Um, just yeah, it's part of a trilogy of songs from previous albums as well. So Soul Harvest has been the first part, One Shadow in Our Flesh the second part, and Gateway of Souls has been the third part. So it's got quite a bit of meaning to me as well as a song. So I really love that song. High Society, another one of my favorites off the album, especially with James Murphy being the addition to that song. Yeah, man, I love the whole album as a whole, but yeah, those two are probably my favorite tracks off the album. But it changes every day, Like I've listened to a Bar and Bob Nations the other day, and I was like, "Whoa, this song hits hard."
Yeah, and you guys are about to kick off on a tour all over the bloody place at the moment as well. I think you're heading off to Sydney, then down to Melbourne. First off, man, can you tell me a little bit how you guys kind of prepare for a tour like that, being able to kind of get around all over and logistically, how does that kind of come together? Because it's not just people kind of expect sometimes that it just happens like that. But can you tell me a little bit about how you kind of prepare for all this stuff?
Yeah, definitely. Like as an independent band, and doing a lot of things DIY, we've had to book pretty much all those shows ourselves. Um, so we got to pretty much figure out, between work schedules and whatnot with everyone, can we take this day off is everyone okay with taking this day off with enough notice, etc., like that. Um, so yeah, we wanted to make sure we were hitting everywhere in all the major capital cities in Australia, make sure that, we've just dropped the album. We want to come across as a professional, hardworking band, just like all of our heroes have, and get out there and go do the full Australian tour. And yeah, just kind of lining everything up between works. And it's not cheap coming from Perth. But we got to make it work. If this is something that we want to take seriously and do, we got to make sure that everyone sees that and we get to everyone. And the only way that everyone around Australia is going to be able to hear us. I mean, everyone can hear us on Spotify and whatnot, and see us on the internet, but seeing you guys and seeing our band in person is a very different thing. So yeah, Sydney, Melbourne this weekend. Can't wait for that. And then Perth, and Fremantle, Electric Eye Heavy Fest will be our album launch in WA. Supporting Nile in Perth, which we can't wait for as well. It's going to be incredible. And then Brisbane, Gold Coast, Adelaide in October.
There we go. I just shared the little
Oh
artwork for
yeah.
that one as well. Yeah, that's pretty cool to kind of land that Nile support spot as well. Yeah.
Definitely, man. We cannot wait for that show. That's gonna be so sick. And their new album is incredible as well. So
Oh,
I can't even wait. Just as a punter, I can't wait to see them play.
it's absolutely unreal. And you're talking about like people that haven't seen you guys. You're definitely known for your bloody really intense live performances, and this tour's bloody not going to be any exception at all. Can you tell
Oh
me a
yeah.
little bit about some of the memorable performances to date?
Today, Hammer Sonic is definitely got to be one that's up there. When we played that earlier this year, that was incredible. Playing to thousands of people.
Oh yeah.
Blistering hot heat in the in Jakarta. I remember at one point in time I was thought I was going to pass out on stage, but I got the water bottle just put all over my head. Then we got off stage and like half of us were like, no, there's other bands playing right now, so we sprinted over to see Suffocation. Got to see them side of stage, and that was incredible. So that's definitely a big highlight for us. Supporting Obituary in January, that's probably the best show we've ever played, I think. Like
Yeah.
in terms of tightness, we were so tight that night. We just playing on that particular stage in Perth. We played at Magna House. And it was unreal. We hadn't played on that stage before. And it just felt like, oh, this is where the big boys play, like, or the next level from us. And it was incredible to be on that stage. Everything sounded perfect on stage, and we just locked in as a unit, and it was incredible.
Definitely. And everybody can kind of catch you guys on tour supporting this album as well. Watching you guys definitely make some more fucking memorable moments and
Hell
buy a
yeah.
shit ton of merch. Buy all the merch there, everybody, while they're on the run, so they have
Man,
to
we got
fucking
so
run
much
out and
merch
get
we're gonna be
more.
bringing across. So
That's good. There's bloody choice. I can't wait, mate. I'm gonna get to see you at the Cranker when you guys, I think it's in November.
October 26th, man. Can't
October
wait to.
26th, when you come over for the Cranker as well, I will be there front row center. Are there
Hell
any
yeah.
tracks besides the that you're really keen to kind of offer the album, get out there and play live?
I, as I mentioned, like I'd love to play Gateway of Souls. We're not going to be playing that on this tour here, but I cannot wait to be playing that song live eventually.
Yeah.
We are playing Maze to Insanity on this tour. It'll be our first time playing that song live, and we jammed it in the room the other night, and it was so fun to go through. So that's going to be such a sick song to be playing live and testing around Australia as we go along.
Oh, fuck
But yeah,
yes. Sydney and
can't wait to play the
Melbourne.
whole album live.
Sydney and Melbourne, your first cab off the ranks. Look, Marco, this has been an absolute pleasure to get to chat to you about this album, mate. And I will catch you at the Cranker. Do you have any last words, shout outs, thank yous, or anything else you'd like to add in there, my friend?
Hell yeah, man. Thank you so much for having me for this interview. I just want to say thank you so much to all our fans. Anyone who hasn't checked us out, go ahead and check us out on Spotify or streaming services. Hit us up. Come up to a show, come to the merch desk, say hi. I'll be there. And I'm super grateful for all of you. Thank you so much for everyone who's listened to our music and even just checked out the Immortal Realm. It really means a lot to us. So thank you.
Awesome. Cheers, mate. Everybody grab some Crypt Crawler. The Immortal Realm did drop September 13th. Chuck it in the stereo. Crank it up really bloody loud. The neighbors are going to want to hear it too. Cheers, mate.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you so much.
Oi, you're tuned in to Jai That Aussie Metal Guy, so make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of his sick content. And remember, stay brutal, you legend.